Vacuum leaks during pool liner installations. Sometimes you get to the stage of a liner installation where it comes time to turn on the vacuums and nothing happens. This could happen for actually a number of different reasons. First of all, let's say you did a poor job with the taping process. Part of the vinyl liner preparation process is to tape all the joints where the wall panels meet together, and also on most pools, the joint where the coping meets the top of the pool wall. And you need to tape those areas to prevent from losing too much air, too much suction through those. Now, what if you taped those? And you did a pretty good job. You made sure that the walls were dry before you tried to tape it, and all your tape didn't just fall right back off. So everything's good and all taped up in those areas, but you're still losing too much suction. Now, you might not have enough suction to begin with. For example, let's say you're using an old school method. You're using a wet-dry shop vac to try to provide the suction to install your liner. You can get away with that sometimes. Sometimes you can do that. It's not quite as good as what a professional would use, a purpose-built tool for this, which is a vinyl liner vacuum, which moves a lot more air than what a typical shop vac would. But you could even try using two shop vacs sometimes. Maybe that's what you just have to do. And as a liner installation technician, that's something I've encountered over the years, is a pool that, for all intents and purposes, I should be getting enough suction on. I'm just not, and the liner's not pulling in the way that I need it to make sure that I'm giving a quality installation of the liner. So I add more vacuums to it. I have them available to me as a liner installation technician. That's one of the conveniences of being a pro for this. But if you're not a pro and you just don't have enough suction, what can you do to well, I mean, you could go buy another shop vac. Honestly, they're not that expensive. And you could use it one time and you could gift it to your friend after that. It's probably about $100 for an entry-level one in the 5 horsepower range, which could make an appreciable difference when you're trying to install a liner. Would that be my first move? Probably not. Probably my very first move would simply be to walk around the pool and listen. Is there any areas where it's very obvious that I'm losing suction? Like I can hear, like, wind howling as it's being pulled through a big crack in the concrete deck or something like that. That's the thing that could happen. If the floor on this particular pool is shattered with great big fissures and cracks, well, first of all, you should be fixing that before you hang a liner. But you could be losing suction out through random places through the pool where you're not expecting. If the pool has in-wall steps, there's a number of different ways to install in-wall steps, but most of them involve creating some sort of temporary structure that's just enough that you can get a seal and get enough suction to pull the liner back into place so you can install the step flange. It can be tricky. You can lose a lot of suction around there, and what I would probably do if I'm installing a liner and I'm just not getting the suction that I need, I'd probably burn a roll of duct tape. That'd be the first thing I'd do. I'd go and grab a brand new roll of duct tape and I'd just find places to put it. I would tape the spot where the liner goes into the coping track right on the surface. I would just go ahead and put a big bead of tape right over top of that. If there's any air being lost through there, that's going to stop it. If I had to leave it like that for an extended period of time, the sun beating down on it might cause the duct tape to leave some residue on the liner, and I might have to use some glue be gone or something like that later to clean up that residue, but that's the price you have to pay to get the liner installed. You need that suction to get the liner installed. So the first thing I do is I go around and I take the duct tape and I tape up anything that looks like it even might be leaking, and that's going to probably solve your problem. But let's say it didn't. The one last thing that I could think of that a lot of people could miss if you're not too careful, and even experienced technicians sometimes forget about this, the plumbing lines in the pool are still open. So for example, the return line, you've got return lines in the pool. So that pipe itself is still open. Depending on how you install liners, like how I install liners, I usually tape up that pipe opening, or I take a ball of tape and I put it right inside each of the returns, and it effectively prevents me from losing any suction through the return lines. Another option is you might be able to go to the plumbing installation in the pump room, and you might be able to close a series of valves and isolate the pipes. So in theory, the pipes themselves are under vacuum when you install the liner, but they're not just open air. They terminate at this closed valve such that they're under vacuum, but it's not making you lose vacuum overall in the liner installation. But that's something that I would look at, is I would look at the plumbing installation and I would think, well, how did we plug these pipes? You know, is the skimmer currently included in the system? Because it probably is. Is the skimmer plugged? Did anybody plug the skimmer, or are those pipes open? Could you tape them up temporarily just to make sure that you're not losing any suction through there? Same with the returns. Could you tape them up either in the pool or on the other end in the pump installation? Because that's probably where you're losing the suction through. So in total, those are the things that I would look at, is if I was installing a new liner and I just wasn't getting the suction that I needed in order to fit the liner properly. If this information was helpful to you, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.